Little Drive.
Yeah, that's either 6 or 4.
What's that?
6 or 4.
Quiet election.
All right, we're going to call the May 19th, 2025 Emmaus Borough Council meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, we matched today.
I know. Jack said different one.
Uh, First up on our agenda is Personal Appeals Part 1. If anyone in our audience has a personal appeal, please approach the podium now. You have 5 minutes for your appeal. And I know you signed in already, but just let everyone else know who you are and where you live.
I'm Kyle Swez, and I live at 223.
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
I'm Kyle Swez, and I live at 223 South 2nd Street.
You have to get a little closer. If you can't hear yourself in the speakers, you're not speaking into it.
Okay. I'm Kyle Swez, and I live at 223 South 2nd Street.
Perfect. Thank you.
So is anyone here familiar with the flooding issues that occur on South 2nd Street?
Yep.
So I live at 349.
Okay.
I'm just up the road. I know exactly what happened the other day.
Yeah.
And also I'm a part of Public Works, so
Oh, great. Okay.
yeah.
My concern is that the storm we just had was, from what I saw, between like 0.8 and 1.1 inches of rain. And you saw what happened. The whole road was covered in muddy water.
So I think councils may not be fully aware. I'm not sure if they saw photos, but during the storm, the heavy rain, the water cascaded, we'll call it, from the new apartment, washing out. It was like whitewater rapids from coming out of Ott's parking lot, going down South 2nd. Just so you're aware, our Public Works, you saw they came out like immediately.
I talked to Lawrence there.
Yeah. I had called Lawrence as soon as I saw that was happening. One thing the borough is doing is the apartment complex is being charged for our fixing of cleanup from that day. That's not for our taxpayers to be burdened with that. There is also Lawrence is going to be following up with the engineer for the borough, which happens to be Mr. Ott, who's
His building now has like a little dam around it to protect it from it seems to be semi-constant for him now.
Yeah, so it's gonna be followed up with that to figure out what needs to be fixed back there, and so it hopefully doesn't occur again, because not only did it just bring water, but there was rocks, there was all types of sediment. Yeah,
all over the sidewalks and mud and debris, and far outpaced what the drains could
absolutely
could carry. But my concern is if it doesn't get taken care of quickly. In August of 2020, we had about 5 inches of rain, which maybe you remember.
Oh, absolutely.
Same thing. It hit that same area in the train tracks, and this was actually kind of close to that, which is a little startling. But her father lives at 223. Sorry, my wife is here.
Okay.
And it came over the curb and hit against his house. And this past one, only at 1 inches, was like this close to going over the curb. But if we get another 5-inch flood, like that is going to be a tremendous amount of water. And the retaining pond at the bottom by the tracks, like if you are going down South 2nd and you turn right, there's that retaining pond. That was at maximum capacity after this 1 inch. So if we get anything more than that, we're gonna have big problems into people's houses and at the bottom of the tracks.
And the cars that are down the street as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Those get inundated, and you could have.
I've been there before when it was bad, and I've walked through, and I've actually gotten people out of their cars before. They're like, "My car won't start." I'm like, "You have to go."
I do see our borough managers here.
So I was just going to say I emailed the borough manager when I saw the video, and one of the questions I asked is, excuse me, is the stormwater protection in the development yet? And he said no. Usually that goes in with the parking lot. So hopefully that's all addressed when that's all finished. But in the meantime, we need to address what we can do to prevent that. So
because I saw the retaining pond, and the retaining pond is very large, but it wasn't even full enough that it went over the culvert and the drain to exit.
So I'm thinking it's not this, the property doesn't have connections to it yet, is what I'm going to guess.
If I might,
Mr. Pepe is going to speak. I know that he had a conversation with our engineer and also some other people, so he can inform you a little bit more of what's going on.
Okay.
So, Mr. Suez, I paid witness to the large amount of water that came down that road, and certainly that's unacceptable. They have received an MS4 violation for stormwater runoff. South Second Street received nearly every drop of runoff water from that development.
Mhm.
They do have a large detention pond. Not a drop of the water went into that detention pond because of the way that they're building that development. For some reason, it's like they pushed all their dirt up against that detention pond.
Mhm.
So that literally turned it into its own self-made curb and pushed it right down the road. So we are dealing with that. Their owners are aware of it. The engineers are aware of it. Um, and that is absolutely unacceptable. You're absolutely right. That 1 inch rainstorm was the equivalent of a 5 inch rainstorm
Mhm.
down that road. So they have received a violation from us, and we are following up this week. I know that their engineers are already looking at it. That was supposed to be self-contained. All that water was supposed to go into that retention pond, and
Yeah.
obviously it didn't.
Well,
It's
and
not, yeah,
most,
it's not, it's definitely not designed to go down in the South Second Street. It's supposed to be self-contained for that entire development.
yeah. And well, there was already problems with the train tracks there. The drains there were already kind of at maximum capacity, and right below their parking lot, there's a drain that it was just a swirling vortex, and on the other side, it was like shooting up, coming out
Yeah,
of
they,
it, trying to come through, and that was already a problem.
yeah, they
So this
push
is
so much
just
water.
compounding that.
They push so much water there. None of the pipes are sized to take that much water.
Yeah.
And
And they
we
haven't even
found,
paved everything yet. And once they pave everything, then there's going to be no absorption. It's going to sheet off, and it may get worse. The point of being here is like, we need to take pretty urgent action because
just-
if we get a 5 inch storm,
Just so you understand, once the development is completed, that is supposed to address that issue, though. Just so you understand that the modern
Sure.
stormwater management should address that, and that's my understanding of what should be happening.
correct.
yep.
So that should, when they finish, it should abate those issues, not make them worse, hopefully.
That would be great. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm good to hear that people have talked about it and people that are aware of it and people are seeing it. If you need any more, I have a lot of photos and videos I took from that day. If you need any proof of anything or something like that, I was out there in my rain boots in it. So anyway, thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else in the audience have a public appeal?
Hello. My name is Brittany O'Connor. I also live at 223 South Second Street. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for your support for the Earth Day cleanup. Thank you for joining us. And I also just wanted to mention that the Environmental Advisory Council, the Joint EAC, is composed of some pretty impressive individuals. We have some people who are engineers, we have biologists, we have environmental scientists. So when it comes to conversations like this, where we're talking about flooding, water mitigation and stuff, we would love to be part of that conversation. It's some of my understanding that in the past, I think the Joint EAC might have been a little bit more involved with the borough in discussing things like this. So I just want to try to rebuild that relationship and kind of have that communication again. So just keeping that on your radar. We would love to discuss things like this with you guys, or maybe join in on inspections, things like that, because we do have a really big wealth of knowledge that is not being utilized.
Good, Brent.
I have a question. I believe you were implementing a stormwater drain adoption program, and I haven't seen anything since like it was introduced. Where do you sign? I think you need to promote that because I wanted to sign up for a couple and I've been wanting to ask. And since you're here, I'm asking.
Yeah, sure. So if anybody's interested, especially after a big storm like we just had, if you have a storm drain on your street, you can go to the Joint EAC's website or Facebook page and you can adopt your storm drain. So it basically is you committing to cleaning that storm drain before or after a storm, maybe once or twice a month. And that really helps, our entire community with trying to keep our storm drains clear and clean. Public Works does a fantastic job. They did a great job on South 2nd Street after the storm. But sometimes storms come after storm, and some clog up in places you can't see it. So the more eyes we have, the better.
All right. So your website is where I can sign up.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for volunteering for that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any of our, I would say no. Hattie's up next under special presentation. Does anyone have a community minute to bring forward?
Yes,
Madam Mayor?
yes. Councilwoman Baumgartner and I attended the Veterans Memorial Triangle Park dedication yesterday. Very nice event. If you haven't seen it, please stop by and actually look at the park, sit on the bench. It was beautifully done, and drive by at night. The lights it's amazing to see what they've done. Mr. Leidenberg?
I saw it evolve as I went to church every week, and it looks fantastic. It's even more impressive than the photos that they put out to us, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and it really opened up that area
Yes,
with the trees
taking the
coming
tree
down.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see how that grows there.
it's beautiful. It really is.
And we have the Memorial Day Parade.
The Memorial Day Parade is Monday morning, the 26th. I believe it leaves at 9:45, I believe.
Closer this year, though.
Yes, yes. And the Memorial Day service is at 10 a.m. right there. So you'll be able to see it for anybody that comes out.
And that dedication was on the front page of the newspaper today too, if you didn't
Did it
see
make
it.
it? I didn't see that.
The front
Okay.
page
Nice.
on the top. Yep.
Also, we have the Pancake Festival, Mr. Anders. That's
Pardon?
coming up as well, the Pancake Festival.
Pancake Festival.
June
and then
1st.
Also before that is the Rotary at the community
Oh,
park.
correct. Out of Community Park, we have the big
That's the day
Rotary
before
event,
that, correct?
31st.
Lots of good community events going on.
That's all I have.
Great. Anyone else have a community minute to bring forward?
Mr. President, I'm not sure if the person online who has their video on was missed or if there was
She's
something.
up next for presentation.
Gotcha.
I guess the only community minute I would bring up is tomorrow is election day. Make sure you get out and vote and support your favorite candidates. As everybody knows, it's really important to get involved in your community and your local elections. So encourage everyone to go out and vote. Under special presentations, we have Hattie Fry from the Arts Commission, and she wants to present the Kiwanis mural project to us. Thank you for attending, Hattie.
Hi, thank you for having me. I also do agree. I was able to stop by the Veterans Memorial Park, and boy, it really looks nice. So great job, everybody.
That wasn't us. That was definitely a really big
Kudos
group
to
effort.
everyone who was
Yeah,
involved. It looks really nice.
Stillwaters did an incredible job with all that stonework.
Okay, thank you for having me. I am presenting today on a proposal for design for the local Kiwanis group over at Williams Recreation Park. I don't know if you have the images that I supplied.
We do.
Okay, great. Is there any, have you had chances to review them, or is this that time to review them now?
So we went through this at Parks and Rec
Oh, sure.
a few days ago.
Okay, cool.
And I think the biggest pushback that we got was probably from the Rainbow. And
Sure.
that's
Oh.
And that's it's a shame what a Rainbow has come to represent. And I think we just want to try to go with something a little bit long-term neutral in
Yep.
our community.
Yep, and I did see
Yep, I
that
saw that,
based
and
off
I
our
saw that in the
last.
notes as well, that you had
Yep.
said that at the meeting as well. And I think that was really some of the only immediate feedback we got out of the committee for that, as well as just trying to get something a little bit more community neutral.
Okay, great. So I've been, oh, is there a question?
Sorry. So I read the Parks and Rec notes and I see the PDF here, but I think it would be helpful if you just kind of briefly walked us through what the PDF is about and what you were thinking.
So,
Can we do a
well, we're
screen share?
I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if we could do a screen share, or if we can pull up the presentation.
You can. I have it open on my. Well, I'm on a phone, so I don't know if that'll work.
If you give me access, Jess, I'll share it on my screen.
This says I don't have it here. Oh, wait.
Thank you, Shane.
Just allow us to share
I
under security.
Oh, thank you.
Well, this stuff is.
I don't have security.
That's still, I mean, it helps, but it doesn't.
Here, how about this?
final
Hey,
say.
thank you.
But I mean, it's thought we were going to get choices.
All right, Hattie.
Let's see. Oh, okay, great.
Where do you want me to go?
So we were approached from the Kiwanis group to help facilitate a mural on the Williams Recreation Center. They had gotten a new placard sign for the building, and they really thought it'd be great to spruce up that building to represent their group and what the work that they do, utilizing some of the images and things that they utilize on their advertising and PR promotional stuff. So we went with a pretty simple design, mostly copying the silhouettes of their K-Kids program, which is their youth development group and supporting kids. I don't know how old they go up to, I believe 18. So we'll be incorporating just a lot of just simple graphic kid features, but maybe adding a little bit more detail to some of them, in encompassing the whole four corners of the building, and sort of melding it to go in between all of the features in the building, including the doors, electrical boxes, and things like that.
So for everyone on council, that image that's up, that's the one that we were discussing at committee level, looking for something probably a little bit more community neutral on that.
And their newsletter had a nice feature of just some simple stars and other types of small little graphics that could be presented in some sort of manner that could be easily tailored to be different.
Yep.
Other than a rainbow. So in discussing the potential needing for the building to be prepped and cleaned, I anticipated that if there was any deterioration of the current paint job based on the washing, I assume it'd probably be pressure washed of some sorts, depending on how long that paint has been on that building. I'm not sure. The Kiwanis group said that they would be okay with funding if the building had to be fully primed and painted as a base coat first, if the cleaning took any of the paint away. And the group expressed interest in potentially changing the color of the building if they had the option. They were thinking more of some type of light blue, which is consistent with their sort of logos.
Nate or Roy, was there anything else that you can think of that we discussed?
No, I mean, I think overall the concept, like you said, except for the one side, was pretty mutually agreed that, it covered it. I mean, it's a baseball for anyone who does not know, it's at a baseball field.
Mhm.
So those are the restrooms at the field there. The playground that's there, the Kiwanis is also they recently had the bridge redone. They paid to have the bridge fixed for us, for the borough and for the kids at there.
Yep.
They donated towards some picnic tables there and benches.
Yep.
Um, they're
They
one of our community organizations that, again, it's about kids. It's a kid location.
Yep, and the thought process was to really like since it's adjacent to the playground and lots of families really utilize it to just brighten it up and make it really friendly. And the group does utilize the overhang for like some of their proceed sales, like they do sell items during some of the baseball games and some of the tournaments and things like that. So they originally asked for us only to do the front face, but it was like you might as well, if we're going to do it the work, like let's encompass the whole building since everyone sort of spends time around the whole building.
So Shane, where would you like the process to go from here?
Yeah, I mean, so I think you could vote on the design if with the just if you want that one side change, just put that as part of the vote that the Arts Commission will just send us a submittal with an amendment for that one side.
Okay, should I do that like privately to
But
you?
may I suggest, Council, you can make a recommendation to approve this. A motion can be made under Robert's rules, and that it can be conditioned upon that particular statement that subject to a submission to that committee, maybe to approve that additional change.
Okay.
If you want to avoid having to come back to council.
And that won't hold it up because they still have to prime it or
Absolutely.
prep it already.
Yep.
So I'll make that motion with that condition.
All right. Motion by Mr. Labenberg. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Brown. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Brown?
Yeah, just to reiterate, just that it is in there in the first slide is can adjust rainbow design to include more greens and blues and stars from the newsletter design.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about, the switching out.
Yes.
Just to be
Yep.
clear.
Yep. Using more like they use them like small little like confetti almost esque stars and some other maybe bubbles or something like that. Something that's playful too.
Awesome. Ms. Bumgarner, you had something?
I was just going to state I have no problem with the rainbow.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really either with the one they presented. If it's going to be like that, I don't have a problem, but I'm also fine with changing it either way.
Okay.
I
Great.
like the other hand drawings. I like the kids jumping. I think that's going to be cool.
Great. Yep. And I have all my prototypes for those in the area in which it says text inside the state of Pennsylvania, that we can work on with the Kiwanis group if they want to say like local Emmaus chapter, or I don't know if there's something that the borough would prefer it to say, but we could include something that was to make it a little more local.
And also, I am correct if in the statement that the Kiwanis is going to help to paint this. You're going to set it up, and then they were going to fill it in basically with your
They
guidance.
have a group. They do have some volunteers. Some of the kid volunteers actually would probably do it. The group that I met with were all they giggled at me when I asked if they'd like to paint. So I think that they said they did have some volunteers that would be interested in helping. It's just the biggest part of deciding whether the building needs to be repainted from the cleaning or not.
Yeah, and Hattie, I'm gonna tell you it's probably a safe bet that when we power wash that thing, it's gonna fly off there. I mean, that paint
Probably would.
Yeah, it's been on there for decades, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Is there any any troubles with changing the color of the building to something more like a light blue? Maybe not as bright as the ones featured in their newsletter headliner, but something on that scale of a light blue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't foresee a problem. I've told you guys before, we just got to give DPW some time.
Yep. Great.
So if you guys are in like a major rush to get it done, we're probably in trouble with getting all that done. But if if maybe you and I can talk about a timeline, I'm sure we can work with you to get done what you want to get done.
Sure. Sure. I had told the group I would like to try and get moving on some of the stuff maybe in June. I don't know if that's too early or not, but we'll see end of June, maybe July to work on that.
I don't have a problem with the Kiwanis blue that's listed here. Kiwanis has been involved a long time. When I was playing Little League, there was a Kiwanis team, Optimist, there was the three fire companies, you had Catholic Orbits, you had VFW, Lions.
I had originally
Probably
presented
missing a
them
couple, but
the darker blue.
They all had
which seems
teams.
to be, yeah. They're really a great group to work with so far. They've been really, really creative and figuring out what they really want to have. I had presented the darker blue as an option for the building, but they felt that their logo, their placard would get lost in that color. So we thought about lightening it up. But we may incorporate some bands of color throughout there, like a ribbon style. And maybe
Great.
that's what could replace the rainbow,
We have to vote.
could.
You made a motion.
Yeah, we have to vote.
All right. So is there any
Great.
further discussion on this?
I don't think so, just as long as I just want to get the design approved so we can work on sketching.
Somebody over there did.
Somebody seconded it?
Yeah, Nate Brown did.
Thanks. Sorry, Nate.
Yeah, so if no one has any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No, I have an issue with the condition, not the mural.
Okay. We got a 6-1. Hattie, thank you for all of your efforts in the art commission and getting all these murals up and doing all the fun artsy things you guys are doing around town.
Sure, thank you. If you need any other information, just let us know.
When are you guys gonna start doing hydrants again?
Everything has been primed. I've noticed all the primers out. I haven't heard the date they're starting yet. I'm not on that subgroup.
Awesome.
But
That's
I can
gonna be
report back.
yeah, that's always fun to go around and look at all the new paint jobs and the
There's
hydrants.
quite a lot. Yep. Harrison's gonna be, they got a few new ones, a lot of public, pretty popular places.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much.
All right. Next up, we have a reading of the minutes. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the May 5th, 2025 council meeting minutes? Motion by Mr. Dufresne. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Lavenberg. Is there any additions, corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? I will abstain as I did not participate in that meeting. Decision on bids. We have the 2025 sanitary sewer manhole rehabilitation program. We had quite a few bids. Our engineer went through everything and recommends that we approve Environmental Service Corp of Pennsylvania for a bid of $611,531.55. Everything from Hanover Engineering says that these guys met all of the requirements, and that is our recommendation. Would someone like to make a motion to?
So moved.
Mr. Lavenberg?
Before you do that, if I may, the engineer also wanted you to make that subject to satisfactory review of the bid and supporting information by the borough solicitor and confirmation of no objections by the project funding grant administrator. If you remember,
hold on.
if you
Jason, did you get all?
What?
Did you get that?
I did get that.
Okay.
I will add that to my motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Anders. Is there any other further discussion?
I just want to remind you that this is a 70-30 grant. We received a $425,000 grant for this project. The bid is within, I think, $4,000 of what the matching requirement would have been. So it's right on budget.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I'll add that, we had another bid at $628,000, another bid at $734,000, and then a high bid at $805,000. So there was a pretty decent spread of interested parties going after it. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? 7 ayes. All right, so under communication, we have St. Anne's Fall Fest event and banner request. That's a reoccurring event. They're also asking for alcohol sales. So that would be the only thing that we would need to approve on that. Everything else will go to staff.
So,
It's our private property.
yeah, it's
We don't need to.
Okay, well, perfect then. So then we're just gonna send that one over to staff. And then Alan Sylvester is requesting reappointment to the Recs and Entertainment Commission. I don't know if someone would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Bumgardner, or second by Mr. Labenberg.
I'll add to the motion that it's a 3-year term expiring June 7th, 2028.
I was going to say that, although I was going to ask if we can make it infinity.
No, Ms.
Yeah, but-
Baumgartner, you cannot.
Does that mean he serves when he's dead too?
Yeah, well,
No, Madam Vice President, you may not do that.
He's been great.
he has been.
And I see on there, I don't know, that he's already followed, just that it's public, that he did go through the background check and everything is good there already. Not that anyone that's following on the meetings think that we're doing something different. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, Fifth Street Cyclocross event. They have a whole list of events and dates. This technically is a reoccurring event that I think we can send over to staff. Shane, what do you want to do about that other part?
I would like the general administration or public, I would like the general administration committee to have some discussions about this.
All right,
About,
The rent, the price tag.
okay, I was going to bring up during discussion that they add 3 other dates, and I wanted to know, do we charge by the week or by the event? Because I don't recall.
You did none of the above. You charged a base
Flat
price
fee.
in the past.
It's a flat fee, I think.
Okay. I just want to say, so you know, I participate in those, and 2 years ago when I went, it was $5 a race. Last year it went to $10, and now it's for runners $20 a race, which I will not be running because I can't afford that every week. But I just want to let you, and they're a for-profit business, so they're making money on this. Just want you to be aware of that.
yeah. So what we're going to do then is we're going to assign that to Gen Ad, and Gen Ad meets this coming Wednesday. So Brent, can you make sure that gets on our agenda to discuss this?
Sure.
Awesome.
I have a question. Mr. Pepe, do I need an officer there because of the alcohol?
No.
think that's
That's
gonna
part of the discussion that they need to have.
Okay.
There, because that's been back and forth, I think, at Parks and Rec.
Yeah, we
Uh,
talked about it.
They only give 1 beer per runner.
We were leaning towards a no. We were
Just
leaning
so I
towards
know whether or
no,
not I have
but
to
we
drink
haven't
that
had an
somewhere.
official-
They won't do it. I can tell you, they won't do it. if
We
they
haven't
do.
had an official decision, but we're leaning towards no.
All right. Well, we'll knock most of those details out on Wednesday. And then next up is the Friends of the 1803 House want to have a Passport to History event request. That is also a reoccurring event. Shane, we could just put that one to staff, correct?
Yes.
And no alcohol. Next up is Borough Engineers Report. I would assume we have none. Mr. Solicitor?
No report progress.
Thank you. Unfinished business part 1, we have none. Under new business, there is an ordinance 1278, an ordinance amending chapter 15, subsection 602.3 of the codified ordinances, amending several sections of the Borough of Emmaus parking regulation. And a lot of this has to do with some disabled parking on the public streets. You want to speak to it, or should we just read the addresses? What do you feel comfortable with?
We can make a motion to approve ordinance 1278. I do have a follow-up question though. Um, there were some, Shane, I spoke with you about the concerns about two spaces in particular where we had some conflicting information about whether they had time limits or whether they were always
Yeah.
handicapped. Did we ever figure out what ordinance?
Now,
was the most
Chief Apgar and I are still working on those, so that's why we moved ahead and just did these for now. Because I think we have several locations that we need to deal with that on.
So the 3 locations that we're deleting, or the 2
Are not
addresses
are not affected by what
are not
Ms.
on this. Okay.
Yeah, are not affected by what Ms. Baumgartner is.
Yep.
What you asked, they're not listed.
Okay. And it's still worthwhile to do this rather than wait.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
we believe so.
Okay.
Right. So
we,
we have
we believe that may be an issue in other parts of town. That's what the chief is looking at.
a
Okay.
motion by Ms. Baumgartner. There's a second.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Watt. Is there any further discussion? And does everyone understand where these spots are being added and removed?
So just to clarify, the goal, Chief, was reviewing the ordinances and just realized that some things needed to be cleaned up to match what the ordinances were. So these were ones that were confirmed, and what we were raising was another conflict we were seeing where there was some
There's question.
language
Yes.
about the 2 parking spots that are in front of St. John's UCC has a sign saying that they're for a certain time. Another place said that there wasn't a time. So we're trying to figure out which is the most accurate. So that's where they're investigating to what extent there may be.
It's
concern.
actually listed both ways in the ordinance.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
there's 2
There is a
places
time
where-
limit on one section and no time limit on the other section. So we have to determine which one we're going to go with.
So we're clarifying that.
Oh, it's actually in the code, not necessarily the ordinance. I think the code, and that's what we're trying to figure out. We think the code, when they codified it, is wrong.
So I'm assuming that we would want to allow certain timeframes for instance, the one at my church is only I think it's like for 4 hours on Sunday when church is. If you make that 7 days a week, that's a parking spot that's not going to get used because
We're
it's
not-
on the church side. And I would like to say that we probably want that option, flexibility to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, we're not suggesting any change. We're just trying to clarify what the latest.
Okay.
What exists.
Okay.
We've noticed a couple ambiguous sections as we are working on this ordinance. I don't know what is going on in general code, the company that codifies things, but they made some strange changes inside the codification the last few updates. So we're trying to go through that. We noticed that with the parking with this section, instead of just removing stuff, like they added a whole nother section of delete and add. I mean, it got a little. It looks a little funky. So we're working through that with the chief and making sure that what that thing says is what our ordinances are reading.
Everybody else clear? Is there a second on that motion, Ms. Watt? And then we're going to have a roll call vote if there's no further discussion. Hearing none. Mr. Dufresne?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Baumgartner?
Aye.
Mr. Lavenberg?
Aye.
Mr. Anders?
Aye.
Ms. Watt?
Aye.
Mr. Balliot? Aye. 7 ayes. Our second reading will be on June 16th. Unfinished business part 2, we have none. Does anyone have any items that are not on the agenda? Hearing none. Madam Mayor's report.
Thank you. You have Proclamation 2025-621, which is for Memorial Day. And you also have a new one. I was asked to do a proclamation recognizing National Preservation Month, which is the month of May. I just received the information for this on Thursday. So, Jessica, we need to add this to our yearly list. So every May we'll have National Preservation Month, and this is Proclamation 2025-622. Progress.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Where will this be presented in at show at?
Probably on the borough website. Mr. Pepe, any idea who's getting it?
Yeah, we're going to be a little bit more progressive next year. I didn't even know this existed until our ironically, our historical commission, and they read some of this language aloud, and we felt that it would be appropriate for us to recognize it moving forward. So we'll be a little bit more progressive next year, in where that gets presented. We'd like to give it to the historical society, to the houses, those kinds of things.
Awesome. Thank you.
Progress.
Committee reports, Public Works, Mr. Anders.
Wow, I got my own committee now.
Public
Thank you.
Anders, yeah.
Thank you,
Public
Mr.
Works, Mr.
President.
Anders, that's funny.
We have nothing for official action this evening. However, while we did not meet, we asked Mr. Pepe and Mr. Lawrence for a recap of what Public Works has going on. And boy, they are busy. I got to say that, as well as one of the things I wanted to point out in here was the street projects for 2025, but both by UGI and our own borough. Currently, as we all know, UGI is doing many projects around town. We have a listing of 15 projects that are either a half pass or a full pass. And I know a lot of people have questions. Why doesn't my street get paved the whole way, or it only gets halfway when it does? And this list kind of provides with what they will be doing or have already done for 2025. Also, we have our borough projects for 2025, which we have some mill and overlay, and we have several roads with that. And then Mr. Lavenberg's favorite, oil and chip. We will be doing that in 4 areas of town as well. There are many other updates for you to review, but I wanted to pass those along. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 9th at 4:45. And with that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Up next is Health, Sanitation, and Codes. Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nothing for official action tonight. And tomorrow, our Tuesday, May 20th, 4:45 meeting is canceled. Nothing further to report.
Thank you. Up next is Parks and Recreation. Myself, we met on May 15th, and we went over quite a bit. I'm pleased to say that the pool will definitely be open for the holiday weekend. The pool will be open for the holiday weekend. Public Works guys, worked their tails off and implemented some new technology that we haven't tried before. It is not leaking 100,000 gallons of water a day anymore. They got that. They found out where it was actually leaking and was able to make fairly significant repairs. And everywhere that they could, they saved money on things that they saved money on. They were able to go over on some other stuff. And, I don't know exactly how much money they're under budget, but Lawrence says it's significant for the amount of work that was done, that they were able to shift some of the funds around from, we voted on that, the pool strainer. We saved a lot of money, a couple $1,000s on that. And then we were able to, keep repairing some of that busted up concrete and everything. So the pool will be open. Pool pre-sales. Looks like we sold 56 over the 2 days, which is, I think, pretty good for a 2-day pre-sale. And our Emmaus Community Foundation applied for an $8,000 grant to replace the decking on the pool bridge, and some other things. And I don't know, Shane, do you want to talk about that a little bit? I think that's pretty important.
Sure. So in your committee packet or in your committee notes, I think we highlighted some of the statistics that we put into the grant application. So the Community Foundation applied for a small grant, just under $8,000, to fix 2 of the bridges at Community Park, namely the pool bridge, and then one that crosses over up near the Groller Pavilion. So we're hopeful we'll get that. Mr. Dufresne actually worked on that with me. He did a large bulk of the work for it. The numbers that you saw, I think it's significant to report. Based on all of the software that we have and based on all the data that we have, Community Park gets approximately 100,000 visits per year. Our data is very clear with what that shows, and that doesn't include, things like the car shows, or, families at the playground, things like that. So we feel very confident that attendance at that park is about 100,000 visits per year. And you see the demographic breakdown based on the software that we have. So that park is used heavily, and improving those two bridges will be very important for us. So we're very happy with that. Hopefully, we're able to obtain that grant. Mr. Dufresne, we'll find out late summer, early fall, correct?
Yeah, the period closed this past Friday, and I think it's 8 to 10 weeks for them to get back to us. And there's no borough match. We do have to show partnerships. Obviously, the partnership is the Borough Public Works will be doing the labor for it, but the materials and stuff will be covered by the grant if we receive it. And also the Wingstop brand partner, who has to recommend us, either has to volunteer hours to the community foundation or give a donation to the community foundation. There has to be partnerships among multiple organizations, so that would be included also.
Awesome. Thank you. The rest of the meeting minutes are attached. Mr. Anderson?
Yes. Did you want to maybe touch base on the See My Legacy? I thought that was pretty impressive that is up and running, and maybe something that the residents would find interesting.
Yeah, Shana, do we want to do a public presentation on that maybe before the next council meeting instead of just talking about it here?
Yeah.
I think it's worthwhile, even if we do like a special presentation, like be a little bit more prepared for it, because I think it is the See My Legacy
I
thing.
like that.
I think it deserves a little bit more than just talking about it here. I think we should be able to show it, share it on a screen.
Sure, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it is definitely some for the future for some of our
Yeah, so I'll work with Shane and see if we do that.
The goal in that, I agree 100% before a council meeting or during a council meeting, but the goal would be to show the one that's live actually and talk about that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Agreed.
Mhm.
Yep. So I think we'll do that for next meeting. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of briefly, that is a fundraising arm for different organizations within the borough as well as different commissions. Just kind of briefly, I showed the historical commission members the campaign that's going on right now for the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. By the time I got done showing them that, they had already several members had already donated over $550 to the summer concert series. So we think that's going to be a very worthwhile effort. And other organizations within the community are able to piggyback off of that with us. So yeah, we'll show it at the June council meeting if that's what you'd like me to do.
No, I think we should have a full presentation on that. I think it's significant. If no one has anything else, I'll report progress. Up next is public safety, Ms. Baumgartner.
Thank you. We have 2 items for official action. The first is Patrolman Tyler Wick successfully completed 1-year probation period. So he's actually a month out to his 1 year, which is June 10th, but we will not be meeting before then. So Chief Apgar submitted the recommendation. And I just had a question. If we were to put this in the form of a motion, does it need to be contingent on
Passing the 1 year. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I will do just that. I'll make a motion to grant Patrolman Tyler Wick for successfully completing his 1-year probation period contingent on Chief Apgar. I don't know how to word it.
Confirming he has completed 1 year.
Confirming. Okay. By that.
probation.
Okay.
Motion by Ms. Baumgartner, seconded by Mr. Labenberg. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
All right. Give me a second. My iPad is slow. Give me a minute. Okay. There we go. The second item is Resolution 2025-16, Lehigh Valley 2024 Hazard Mitigation Plan Update Municipal Adoption Resolution. So this resolution essentially is saying that we're going to follow the mitigation plan at the county level. It's just a statement of that, pretty much. So I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Ms. Baumgartner, seconded by Mr. Labenberg. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
We have our attached May 14th meeting minutes. We will next meet on June 11th at 9 a.m. I report progress.
Thank you. General Administration, Mr. Labenberg.
Thank you. We have nothing to take action on, but if you read the meeting notes, you'll see the last item was the timeline for Director of Emergency Services position. So you have an idea when that's happening. It's going to be happening through June and July. And if nobody has any questions, our next meeting is this Wednesday at 9 a.m. by Zoom. Progress.
Thank you. Up next is Budget and Finance, Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Mr. President. My first thing for action is Resolution 2025-17, the bill list, resolved by Borough Council to authorize payment of the May 19, 2025 bill list as follows. Bill list $651,366.48. Payroll number 10, $195,649.83. Payroll taxes, $63,211.48 for a total of $910,227.79 done the 19th of May, 2025. And I put that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Dufresne. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
All right. Next, we have two documents from USC Holdings, Inc., doing business as Valens. It's a master service agreement and a business associate agreement. So I want to first start by saying nothing's changing on our insurance. No decisions have been made. No brokers have been hired. No nothing. Through the process of us interviewing some potential brokers, which we'll decide on later, one of the brokers, without being compensated themselves, brought Valens to the table and said, this is really something you should look at, your 5 high claims, because there's almost always money to be refunded in an audit on health insurance high claims. So they identified 5 high claims that range in the low from $39,000 to $101,500. The total is about $360,000 of total claims. Again, they've already been paid by us. The audit would just be to go back and make sure the billing codes were right, the right amounts were charged, all of that. It's not changing anything for our employees or for us going forward. For them to audit the 5 high claims, whether they find anything or not, is $3,750. The company that audits retains 40% of the savings if it finds it and we get paid for it. So again, they have to identify it and the health insurance companies have to refund us the money before they get paid. We would get to net the $3,750 against the total. So first savings goes back to get our fixed costs, so to speak, covered. Their historical rate on what they find on high claims is about 30% are incorrectly billed. And out of that, which would be about 106,000, and out of that 30% that they identify as incorrectly billed, the historical number is about 75% is what the health insurance companies have agreed to pay us back, to pay not us, to pay the claimant back for that. So that would be around 80,000 is what they normally get refunded. They would get 40% of that, less than 3,750, and the borough would get the rest. I have never worked, from my past, I have never worked for Valens, but most of these companies that do this kind of thing where they get a percentage of the savings, they underestimate what they get back because they want to underpromise and overdeliver, usually, because then there's no questions asked. At that point, we found more than what we said we could. So I think, and I think Shane agrees, he can talk too, that for $3,750, that's the most this could cost us. Not only might it find us some money, it might give us some bargaining chips or things to identify going forward on our renewal coming up here this year. Again, it does not affect our employees, nor does it change anything at all related to insurance. It just makes sure we paid the right amount for our health insurance contract, that we were billed and paid the right amount. So before I make a motion, Shane, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell you that for $3,750, this is an extremely smart investment. I mean, they're going to run an audit for us. I mean, we've seen over the years an ambulance of miscoding from just on the ambulance side with a third party. You know, and so if we had the potential even to get $5,000 back, we still made out with this. The other part of this is it actually puts you, I think, kind of puts a measuring stick on what's going on there on that healthcare side as well. So for $3,750, I think this is a no-brainer. And Mr. Dufresne and I have been meeting with healthcare brokers. I don't know, we're probably on 4 or 5 at this point. I think, you know, over the last couple months, and we felt that this is a very good first step to try to get some of this money back that the borough, you know, is spending on this benefit.
Mr. Member?
How fast are they going to be starting?
It's and they're going to be starting as soon as we sign it. It's in there. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it said it takes 10 to 12 weeks usually from start to end of an audit, because obviously the insurance company just doesn't say, yeah, you're right.
And is this something that you would do yearly?
Depends on what we find. And my experience, again, I've never worked with them, is once you find that stuff, they're a little sharper in the future.
I can't imagine insurance companies not making mistakes. So
This is, again, my opinion here. I have never worked with Valens. They're willing to do this for $3,750. They know there's money there. They know there's money there.
Okay.
I've never seen one that low on their fixed side.
Yeah, I would agree. They know there's something for sure, and I would also think that moving forward, as we've talked with brokers, I think most of them have identified the need to do something like this. And I think this is probably a service that if we do hire a broker in the near future, I think this is a service that a number of them can probably provide, or a partner of theirs can provide. And I'm correct when I say that, right, Mr. Dufresne?
Yes, and many of them will probably use the same vendor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any other, before I make a motion, should I make a motion now? So I'll make a motion that we approve UCS Holdings, Inc., doing business as Valens, that we sign the master service agreement and the business associate agreement. We have to make it contingent upon you reviewing the 2 documents. They're pretty innocent documents, but
Shane, are you comfortable with these documents?
I am.
I did review them too.
That if you've both reviewed them,
It's
honestly, these are based on what you're telling me and having taken a brief look now, I think you're relatively safe.
Confidentiality.
And they're contingent, so that
Correct.
you're relatively safe.
Okay, then I'll put that into the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Dufresne. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Labenberg. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Okay, and then as Shane said, we're getting final proposals from 3 different individual brokers. Once we have all 3 of them, they will be brought forth to a budget and finance meeting first. We believe we're going to have them all to start the review on June 4th. That is our next budget and finance meeting, June 4th at 11 a.m. And unless there's any other questions, I report progress.
Thank you. Next up, Community Relations, Planning and Development, Ms. Watt.
First, I wanted to thank all of our department managers who spent a tremendous amount of time going through the finances and looking for cost savings, and spending a lot of time explaining the inner workings of their department to us, in addition to doing their regular jobs. It's been a pleasure to work with them, and we hope to have something to you soon from all of this effort. Our next meeting is Tuesday, June 3rd at 4:45 p.m. Progress.
Thank you. Attached, you will find some board and commission minutes. Personal appeals part 2. If there's anyone in our audience that has personal appeal, please approach the podium, sign in, state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Kevin Gaiman. I live at my family home that I grew up in 416 North 3rd Street. And I just wanted to probably just address Mr. Anders in regards to the 31. I have a property on 31 South 6th Street, and I know that home, that street is going to be redone. And I talked to Mr. Reed about the middle of April, and he said that there's going to be a letter upcoming in regards to findings that they found, and I haven't gotten anything. And I just wanted to wait till now because I thought maybe it would be coming in the agenda, but I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, Mr. Garman, I can respond to that. I actually approved the letter early last week, but I asked Mr. Reed to include photos of the properties that needed to do the curb and sidewalk work. So they had a little bit more legwork they were going to do, but we wanted to make sure that they were more individualized. So every property owner should, I would imagine it's going out this week if it didn't go out at the end of last week. But every property owner will be receiving that. But like I said, I approved it early last week with a couple small additions that he was going to put into that letter.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other folks in the audience?
Hello again. It's me, Kyle Suez, 223 South 2nd Street. I actually have a separate question that I was reminded of, unrelated to the previous one. When they redid the sidewalks in front of my house, which came out really nice, and they were really nice to work with, and they even helped us a little bit. I would have liked a little more lead time, I guess, for that to plan, but still very happy with how it came out. One small issue though was I, like several other people in the area, have gutters that go underneath the sidewalk. When they replaced them, they didn't put it back in, which is fine, but they put in a U-shaped channel and they put a grate over the top of it. Once again, fine. But over the winter, I discovered that this grate, it's just basically a smooth piece of stainless steel. And as soon as it gets a little cold and the water hits it, I mean, like bridge may be icy, freezes before road, like it immediately becomes icy. I slipped on it, and my father-in-law slipped on it. If it's very easy, like astonishingly easy to slip on. My best guess is that this, whatever system they're using, is actually rated to be used down south and not rated to be used up here because it's just not compatible with icy conditions. And if they're going to continue to install those across the town, that actually may be a big issue for some people. It's just like a smooth stainless with holes punched in it.
Yep.
You know.
I think we'll absolutely get back to you on that. I don't think anyone's going to have an answer here on that.
If you have an answer,
I'll
that's
grab
fine.
a couple
Yeah.
pictures.
Grab pictures.
I'll stop down and take some pictures and send them along.
Or yeah, there's me and several of my neighbors have them at that location.
No,
Yeah, I would suggest you give council time to look into that.
That's fine. I wanted to bring it up sooner.
No, a lot of the other ones that we've seen are at least made out of like some non-skid diamond plate.
No, it's not diamond plates. It's
Yep.
smooth. Yep.
I think
Yeah, so we'll have Mr. Ott go down the street and take a look at it because he's the one that engineered it and oversaw that. So
Okay.
We'll,
yeah,
we'll
I
have
actually
Mr. Ott-
talked to him in the beginning. He's usually very helpful. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Do any of our online guests have a public appeal? Now you can unmute yourself. All right, hearing none. Borough Manager's report.
Yeah, so we have a lot going on here. Several items I'll need you to vote on, and then some announcements for you. So the first thing, we have several public works employees that have met the requirements to move up in grade. And per their union contract, council would have to officially vote to do that. So I'm going to ask that council approve Robert Leach, who is a group leader. He has met all the requirements to move up to class 4. So I would ask council to approve that.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lavenberg, seconded by Mr. Anders. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Seven
Okay.
ayes.
Thank you. Ben Harrison has reached the requirements for Class 3 Public Works, so I would ask for council to approve that as well.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lavenberg, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Watt. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Seven ayes.
Ms. Brantza Forte has reached the requirements for Class 4, so Taylor has met all of her requirements to advance as well, so I would ask for a motion to approve that.
Motion by Ms. Watt, seconded by Mr. Lavenberg. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Seven ayes.
Okay, so I have some hiring announcements for you. I've hired Jeremy Yeakel Mendez as a seasonal Public Works employee. So Jeremy will be working in the parks for us for the summer. I've also hired Philip Doherty as a part-time employee, and I've hired William Rabb as a part-time employee, both in the Public Works Department. I'd like to thank Mr. Lavenberg. I know Mr. Anders, you interviewed. I'm not sure who did the interview with Brent on the second one. I'm not sure if both of you did that or someone else was there.
So that Friday morning, it was just me and Lawrence, and the person never showed.
Okay, that's right. So thank both of you. That was definitely a relief for me as I had some other meetings going on. So much appreciated. I've also hired Isabel Corso as a lifeguard. So we feel that we should have a pretty full complement of lifeguards and snack stand employees at this point. Got a lot going on, as you know, but for now I will report progress unless you have any questions for me.
Nope, hearing none over here. Under President's business, I have none. There is no executive session. Someone like to make a motion for adjournment? Motion by Mr. Dufresne, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Baumgartner. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Seven ayes. Meeting adjourned at 7:07.
Have a good night, everyone.